Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 18 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm also here with Eric.
Hold on to your butts.
And special guest, Nick Arnot. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, spared no expense.
Nice, I like it.
Spared no expense. We spared no expense having you on this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dave is out, and we filled in with something equally as cool, maybe more cool. I don't know. We'll everybody decide on that one. But yeah,
man.
and Nick is a big fan of movies.
I am.
So, and Nick and I are both creative guys. We both are into a lot of things, music and design and all that stuff.
List goes on and on.
It goes on probably too long, honestly, for our,
Exactly.
the way we are. But yeah, Nick is, when I needed to find a guest to fill in for Dave being out, Nick came to mind real quick because the guy is just nasty with a camera in a good way. And we were talking, and you just said, dude, I love Spielberg. So, all right, real quick, we threw in some little quotes because we're talking about Jurassic Park. And you probably saw based off the title of this episode, but Jurassic Park, the movie that started a franchise. I don't know how great that franchise is, but one of the best movies. And you threw out all these Spielberg movies. And I was like, man, pick. And that's what kind of got you into, maybe if anything, picking up the camera, right, Nick?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think it's definitely part of kind of my story, like my coming of age story, as far as kind of being in the field that I am. And so, when we were kind of talking back and forth and you said, we want to do Jurassic Park, I was like, man, that's awesome. I feel blessed to be here just to be able to talk about it.
It's like, yeah, there's like Star Wars.
It's a big one.
there's like Avengers, Jurassic Park. Yep, I know. Dave was like, oh man, Jurassic Park, that's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I'm pumped to talk about this one. Eric, when did you first see this movie? Did you see this one? Because you're younger than Nick, you're younger than me. I'm trying to think. You must have been what? One?
So I was born
even?
I was born in 1994.
After,
yeah. So I can't remember the first time I saw Jurassic Park. It must have been super young. My most prevalent memory is probably seeing Jurassic Park 3 in theaters with my mom. So I think that came out in like 2005 or something. So, or 2000, no, it was actually earlier than that. I was really young. But I remember enjoying that as a kid. I mean, looking back on the third one now, I mean, it, pales in comparison to one, but yeah, I was obsessed with Jurassic Park as a kid, dinosaurs in general, like every kid was. But yeah, I can't even count the number of times I've seen the first one by now. It's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's probably the case for most people. I think a lot of people have seen them. I don't think somebody's out there. Maybe they exist, but I don't know who this person is who's seen all of the Jurassic Park movies except the first one.
Right,
who's that person? How did you do this with your life?
Maybe like the newer generation, because they're kind of rebooting it a little bit with the Jurassic World franchise, so kind of catering to a younger generation. But
interesting.
I'm hoping
Kinda
that
like
their parents will introduce them to the original and where it came from. Because
right, who's that parent? You don't need to see the old one. I don't think it holds up. All right, hold on. I think we're getting too far into the Jurassic Park because I think we're excited. But real quick, and yeah, so what we like to do between episodes, just kind of catch up on what we've been watching or playing or anything like that. And honestly, I'm still working on friggin' Hades. And
nice.
I got to
Did you
the
beat
final
Hades
boss.
Yet?
No, man. I mean, I beat him, and then he does that lame video
There's
game
a phase
thing
2.
where
There's
a phase 2.
Yep.
And at that point, I was toast. And I'm also playing with the God mode on. I just suck at this game, but I'm working on the bow. I finally got the Hades, and yeah, I'm thinking like the next escape or two. I'm at like 26, I think 25. Maybe,
Oh wow,
25, 26. Yeah, I'm trash at this game.
You'll
Nick,
get it.
have you played Hades? Do you know what it is? Okay, yeah, it's a roguelike game that came out in Game Pass, and it's been out for like a year or so, but it finally came out on Xbox, and everybody's played it. We did an episode on it, and everybody's beating it, and I just feel like I'm trailing behind, and I can't beat it, but I did.
You'll get there. Don't
yeah.
worry.
Yeah, and real quick, they just added Myst. Myst is this video game that came out in the early 90s on the PC And
Like the original they
yes.
added?
Yeah, well,
Wow.
dude, it's not the original. It's like a remake. It's like a remaster where they
Mhm.
Well, that's
kind of
cool.
took it in 3D, and it's not still images. It's actually you can walk around in like Unreal Engine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, and it's I don't know, man. It's a weird feeling to like play a video game that you haven't played in decades. It's a weird feeling because like I know where I'm going, and it's just I've been here before.
So if someone like me who has no idea, I mean, I know what Myst
It's a
is,
puzzle
but
game.
never played it, don't have any nostalgia for it. If I went into this whatever remake or remaster, would I enjoy it? Isn't it like super obtuse, like puzzles and everything?
It is, but like it's a small little island that you explore, and everything has a purpose, so everything is just clickable. And I think it's fun. I know I was thinking about that, like who the hell would want to play this today that's never played the original? But I think it's kind of like movies, where if you get into movies, right, like, whoa, Jurassic Park was amazing. I don't think the next movie you're going to see is Casablanca. I think eventually you get to the point where, like, you start digging around for some of the classics. Like, why is this always referenced? Why is this always referenced? I think Myst is one of those games that, I mean, shit, it's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, just download it, check it out, play it for like an hour or two. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But at least you got to try a classic game that is just, I don't know, a PC game.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, I think it was kind of like the first, like, kind of escape room. I think it kind of appeals to...
Oh my God, Nick, it kind of is.
And I remember playing it when I was really young and not even really understanding what I was doing. It was, kind of back in the day, like for me, I think around that time I was still kind of a little bit younger, and my dad installed on the computer. So it's like, oh, there's a new game on the computer, you're going to play it. And I remember just sitting like not knowing what I was doing.
No, nobody did, I don't think. Yeah, that was like the game to have on your PC back then. It's like, check out Windows, and like Windows, like it was visual at that point. It went from like 3 to like maybe not 995, but it was like, I'm getting so geeky right now, but like there was this era where like you could play video on a DVD and a computer, and I just remember this era, and the internet was coming out, and it's very, and the graphics were just, it was a still image or whatever, but still, it was just like, whoa, that looks way more realistic than Mario Brothers,
I think that was probably like one of the most exciting times in both computing and gaming, because I remember it just wasn't even possible before. And then, you're hooking up all these peripherals. We had, Need for Speed, like the original one. Oh, and you got like the, the steering wheel and the gas pedal, and younger me is like, I'm driving a car.
Dude,
and,
you had a
awesome
PC that you gamed on? Because that's what I had actually in the 90s. I was a little PC gamer.
Yeah, and this stuff was just emerging, so it was like you literally felt like it was like the first time, it ever was happening. And I think that was like, to kind of touch off of like games that we're playing. So I've been playing World of Warcraft Classic. Like that's just been what I've been doing for like the last year.
Nice.
And it's kind of weird because like when it first came out, everybody was exploring it for the first time, and you didn't know the secrets, you didn't know how to really, everything was like, hey, I found the secret, now come and go on an adventure with me. Now it's like everybody knows when every it first in and out. Yeah. And now it's like there's no secrets anymore. And it's just like you just kind of tackle it from like here's a glitch over here that we can take advantage of, and here's a glitch over here we can take advantage of, which is it's kind of a funny take on gaming in general. I think like there's something special about that like 95 to like 2000 era where we got to explore games for kind of what they were. And I don't know if we're going to get that back.
Yeah, because they patched that shit out. What are you trying to do? Manipulate a game? Patch it out.
Dude, that's what blows my mind, dude. Like things came on like there weren't patches. In fact, right. Like, it was perfect, or that was it.
Yep, they ship it, and that's what it is. Yep. Yeah, exactly. If there's a glitch in there, you can't just send your disc in to get it fixed. That you just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't play, I think Daggerfall is like the second game in the Elder Scrolls series, and as popular as the Elder Scrolls series is, the second one, Daggerfall, has this game-breaking bug in it, and I think think you can't beat the game. I think it's a broken game.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, and that was this era of you would buy the game on a disc, you would install it, and that's it.
Yep.
I love that.
What
Something
about
special about it?
What do you got going on, Eric? What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
I dipped back into Horizon Zero Dawn because they just released a PS5 upgrade. So they got 4K 60 FPS now. That's one of the last PS4 exclusives to kind of get the PS5 treatment upgrade. And it just feels so much better in 60 frames compared to the 30. Like, it's night and day difference. The combat feels like
isn't
so
it
much more
60
fluid.
frames
No,
already though?
Nope, it's 30 in the PS4 version. Yep. It's a big difference when as soon as I boot it up.
Then it's a really smooth 30, and it has a really solid
smooth
frame rate. Then okay.
But like, if you saw it in 60, it would blow your, like, the combat just feels so much smoother and quicker and snappier. It just feels great. I'm getting pretty close to the end now. Finally, like, I bought that game when it came out in 2017, and I'm still haven't beaten it yet. So, I restarted a save recently and slowly working my way through it. But I'm excited to finish that one off. I haven't had much else going on. Dinking around with a couple things on Switch. I want to do a couple more Hades runs here and there, but not a ton happening right now in the gaming world. But that's about all for me.
You didn't watch Cruella on Disney Plus with your family? I think that finally came out.
No, I did not. I have no interest in that.
My wife doesn't even like that actress, and she watched the whole thing. And she
Emma
liked
Stone.
it.
Emma Stone's in that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't for me.
I was never really a huge fan of like the original 101 Dalmatians movies.
It was a
or
joke.
Whatever,
I'm joking. I didn't think that you were waiting in line to watch Cruella. It's out.
Like, I've seen it. It's got, every time you boot up Disney Plus, it's got the big Cruella banner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not. I don't know. Probably won't check that out.
Yeah, probably won't be a mini review on Cruella.
No.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Very niche audience.
There could be. I bet if I went on my podcast and I did a search for Cruella, I bet there'd be a decent amount of episodes about the character in some way. I don't know who those people are, but maybe I should check it out.
Yeah, it's the really mainstream stuff. There's a whole community that only watches that stuff.
Everything. Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, you're probably right. That's probably what it is. Well, whatever. That's them. That's not us.
We're talking about a movie that's 26 years old.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be offensive, but I don't really think there's a podcast audience that listens to that. If you're listening to podcasts, you're not really in the same. Yeah, I think you consume the mainstream stuff, and that's about it. TMZ too, a little bit.
I wonder how big is the podcast medium getting? How are people really, your everyday people getting into it? I don't know.
I wonder what would be interesting is kind of what COVID and working from home has had as an effect on that too.
Well, right. You see Discord got really big. You saw Clubhouse got really big. You saw Facebook and Spotify starting to explore the audio space. And then you got these podcasts that have been going on forever. I would be curious about the numbers. I mean, shit, we started this during COVID,
Yep.
I don't know.
When I think about even me listening to podcasts, a lot of my first recommendations for podcasts were from you, Brandon. Because you listen while you worked. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I did back.
Same.
Yeah, Nick and I used to work together. And Eric and I used to work together. So I used to work with both you guys separately. But yeah, Nick, I probably been listening to them for 7, 8 years, 9 years, something like that.
Yeah. Yep. I still listen to some of the ones that you would listen to when I'm on road trips and things. Some of the I think one of them was stuff you should know, and
yes, that's my favorite.
things they don't want you to know.
Yep, those guys are great.
Yeah, yep. That one I don't think is going anymore. If memory serves, but
okay.
Yeah, every time I go on a road trip, I got 5 hours, I just want to I'll throw one of those on, and it's like that they're in tangent with each other.
Well, Nick, I got good news for you for your next road trip. I have 18 awesome episodes as of right now that you can listen to
of this wonderful show,
and they're an hour and 40 minutes long.
I'm invested. I'm consider me in.
Hey, I'm always listening to podcasts 8 hours a day at work. Every time I'm in the car, I throw on a podcast. Every time I'm like doing chores around the house, I got headphones in, listening to a podcast. So I'm always listening to podcasts. I mean, I got my mom into podcasts by she listens to our podcast every week now.
Yeah, and I used to have a much longer commute to work. It used to be like, around 30 to 40 minutes. Now it's about 30 to 40 seconds. So previously I would love to like get my news and things like that by listening to people who, had opinions on it. And, so I kind of miss that actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of had the same thing when I was working with Brandon. I worked an hour away. It was an hour drive there and back to Buffalo. So I was always listening to podcasts, and it is nice. It's kind of like, just a morning routine, throw on a podcast. And then I have the one specific one that releases every day that I listen to on the way home. So it was kind of a nice routine, like wind down way, coming home and everything. But I don't miss the hour drive. But like you said, yeah, it's a 30 seconds to walk upstairs to my office.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. Well, I hope people are listening to us when they do dishes, when they mow their lawn, when they take a nap. Hey, I don't know.
Mowing the lawn's a big one too. Always
yes, sir.
Podcasting.
I know. Yeah, you just put some headphones on, block out the sound, listen to some conversation.
Let us know. How you're listening.
Yeah, right back in. How do you like to hear us? All right, we're rambling on about a goddamn podcast. Let's take a break. And then let's talk about that cool movie that came out. I forget, what was it called? Jurassic Park. That's right.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah. All
Yes,
right. All right. Let's take a break, and then we'll get into it. And we're back. And we're back to talk about some dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
So,
Boom,
DNA.
boom, 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 boom.
Dude, best what do they call that? Exposition. It's probably the best exposition of any movie, honestly. It's so charming. Usually it's
really
like black background with white text on it, or yellow. Or like some person talks like the intro of Lord of the Rings. They kind of Galadriel like talks over everybody, but this movie does it like 30 minutes in or something like that. Yes, we're talking about Jurassic Park. Eric, real quick, just for if you've been living under a fossil, can you just, what is this movie about? The first Jurassic Park.
Listen, yeah, like I said, I'm going to say right now, if you haven't seen this movie, stop. I don't know why you're listening to this, first of all. Stop the podcast. Go watch the movie. Don't worry, we'll wait right here for
That's
you
more
until you get
important.
back.
That's more important than
Exactly.
the podcast.
Just go watch that movie right now. But broad strokes, you got John Hammond he creates a park with genetically engineered dinosaurs. And then he brings all these people to show them. Chaos ensues. Dinosaurs start killing people. And that's what we got. It's not a very complicated plot by any means.
No, what could go wrong?
The simplicity of
dinosaurs back for entertainment purposes.
I think the simplicity of it is kind of the beauty of it also.
Absolutely.
Like it doesn't get too bogged down by super specific plot details. Like they go into the specifics of how they engineered the dinosaurs and everything like that. But like as a kid, like I didn't understand any of that stuff, and I didn't really care about that stuff. Just the dinosaurs are what makes the movie, and obviously there's the characters. There is some depth to the characters as well. Like the characters make the movie as long as also with the dinosaurs. But I mean, as a kid, the dinosaurs are everything.
It delivers on its promise, because I remember watching Ninja Turtles, and I remember not getting what I was promised, which was bringing the Ninja Turtles to life. Did they look cool? Yeah, they look cool, but they weren't anywhere near as animated as that cartoon. and Bebop and Rocksteady were not in that movie. And I don't know, we've all seen stop motion and all that stuff, and like it is what it is. But when they were teasing this movie, I mean, this was like Lucas.
Industrial Light and Magic.
Thank you. Yeah, that did it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a big deal, and it had Spielberg's name on it. And I just remember when this movie came out, it gave me, dude, I still get chills. That scene when the two scientists, Grant and his girlfriend, I'm drawing a blank. I don't have to.
Sadler.
Thank you. Yes. Who, when I was younger, I wasn't attracted to, but now that I'm 40 and looking at it, I'm like, damn, she's a beautiful woman.
Things have
changed. She's an attractive woman. No wonder why everybody's hitting on her. Yeah. But when they show up and she's like blown away by like this like ancient extinct plant. And like Grant is like freaking. He's like the way he reacts to it is like so how you would react. And they tease us. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen the money shot yet. And when he grabs her by the head and pulls her up, and she gets up, and they're looking, and they're like losing their breath. The music kicks in. The camera is still like it doesn't have the dinosaur. It's not like there's your dinosaur. You just see like. It's lower half or something like that. It can't get the whole thing into it. I thought that was a great way to reveal a dinosaur and look and like know that it looks so real. You know?
And that first, like, they made such a smart decision to make it a Brachiosaurus, like, because it's massive, it's huge. Like you said, the shot focuses, it starts at the ground level and just pans up.
Go up.
And it just gives you the scale of how
the
huge
music,
it is.
And the dinosaur gets up to get, and then it dun, dun, dun. It lands on the ground, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They're all just blown away. Dude, that movie's great. That scene still holds up. It's a good movie. I gotta give Spielberg credit, man.
Yep, and I think you're right along the journey when he has to sit down and take a breath, right? I think you feel that as the audience that. You're totally invested in the idea that this is something that is completely groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking.
Absolutely.
Groundbreaking.
And to be meta about it, that shot is also groundbreaking as far as cinema goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're literally right there with you just from the way that they accomplished that.
It's a weird feeling. You don't get that much where like the characters in the movie and the audience are experiencing something together.
Yep. I watched the movie, and then after the movie, I watched the Movies That Made Us on Netflix about Jurassic Park, and then I watched the making of Jurassic Park, which came out like 2 years after the movie. It's like a 15-minute documentary, and all that was super interesting, and just like you said, the groundbreaking technology, the CGI that they use. Because before this, there was only like a handful of movies that actually used CGI. So Young Sherlock Holmes in 1985 had the first ever CGI creature on screen. And then The Abyss and Terminator 2, like you were saying. But no movies up to this point had actual like animals on screen, like something believable that's living and breathing. And it's funny because in those documentaries, I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys knew this, but like originally for the dinosaurs, they started with stop motion animation.
Yes.
So they got Phil Tippett, which he was like the best stop motion animator at the time.
It was kind of the safe bet at the time. That's what the industry relied on,
Exactly. Yep. So I mean, they at first they had no question, like, we're going to stop motion. And then during production, they just started playing around. The effects department started playing around with CGI, and we're like, oh, we could do this with CGI. Like, there's no reason why we can't do this. So it kind of put Phil Tippett out of the job at that point after they showed like this test of this T-Rex doing his run animation.
Yeah, because like Spielberg says, like, looks like you're out of a job, and doesn't he say more like extinct? And which is why in the movie, Grant, because Malcolm's like, looks like you're something, don't you more? Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Good.
Yeah,
they put that line
from a filmmaker standpoint. Sometimes you need to go off and do those renegade kind of concepts and say, I've got this idea. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, from a design perspective, Brandon, you can even say the same thing. Like sometimes there's something that you want to attempt. And I have such an appreciation for these artists in the day where, even Terminator 2, like the scene where he walks through the metal, that is still difficult from a compositing and even with our 3D technology today. It's difficult to achieve that thing. And they had such a level of excellence that they had to achieve. And Spielberg wouldn't accept anything less than like realistic. And it's just crazy looking at films that came out after Jurassic Park that didn't accomplish what Jurassic Park did.
The T-Rex scene in the rain with the
the
headlights?
reason it holds up so well.
How?
The reason it holds up so well for me is because they use that combination of CGI and animatronics.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, they built they built that huge T-Rex, and the Triceratops and everything. So they had these physical things that the actors could interact with. So they use those for like the close-up shots. And then when you see a full body dinosaur, it's CG. So that combination makes it so much more believable than if everything was pure CG. Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautifully done.
Right.
Yeah. Just the transitions are seamless. And there's so many films that don't accomplish that to this day.
Still to this day.
It speaks to the level of excellence that they all had for trying to accomplish something like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I one of the things that I noticed was that, and I don't know, and maybe Nick, you know this because you do audio as well as video, but because I know you've done like independent films and all that stuff, but this movie is one of those movies that I can hum the music to. I can more or less in my head recreate the sounds that these creatures make. I can picture the logo. I can picture the outfits. John Hammond, what is he wearing? Tell me, guys. What is John Hammond wearing in this movie?
A white flowy suit.
Right.
Yep.
Like
with the white hat and the cane.
White,
yep.
Right. He has a very distinct look. Right.
Each character does.
All of these guys do. Yeah. Malcolm. What is Malcolm wearing?
Just a dark, button down.
Jacket? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but that's his persona.
He's got the black with the
awesome.
unbuttoned shirt with the dark tinted glasses, right?
Oh yeah.
Laura Dern's has got the khaki shorts with the shirt. Dude, everybody has a very distinct look in this movie.
Yeah.
The logo. I just like when they know they have the look. That's what I love. Like when they made Star Wars, they knew that the stormtroopers looked awesome, right?
Yeah.
They knew everything about all the characters in the background looked awesome. The vehicles, and the sound that everything makes. And I think when they were making this movie, I don't know if they meant to do this or it just happened because it's a good movie and we've just seen it so many times so we get familiar with these sounds. But like if somebody says Kong, Peter Jackson, like, yeah, all right, I remember watching it. I don't remember what any of those creatures sounded like. I have no idea what the theme was. I remember the gorilla being really realistic looking, but again, I don't know. But Jurassic Park, I can picture a velociraptor doing that boom, boom sound or whatever, and the Jurassic Park, the T-Rex, like how it just is so menacing with that sound and that thud, that specific thud. Just sound design.
The sound design is amazing. Yeah. And it makes it more authentic because they use like actual animal sounds and everything for the dinosaurs. Like the raptor is like a combination between a dolphin and a walrus or something like that. It's so cool that they just went out and recorded all those like natural sounds. And again, it just makes it 10 times more believable than if they just synthesize something. You know?
Yeah. And I think this was also one of the first films where you saw a dinosaur that wasn't cheesy. And I think this is where it actually kind of pulled it into a real, like, oh, that's what dinosaurs actually look like. I think that's one of the major things that the audience took away was this is the first time I've actually seen a dinosaur.
Yeah, and they pulled in like paleontologists and everything just to get the accuracy and whatnot. Like they, originally they wanted to make the raptors have like this flicking tongue like a lizard would have, but the paleontologist that they were consulting was like, no, raptor would never do that. They're more closely related to birds and everything. So just the combination of that stuff just knocked out of the park with like believability and like bringing these dinosaurs to life.
Nick, you're making me think about something where like not only that, but this movie also made us like scared of dinosaurs. fall in love with dinosaurs. I mean, come on, right? John Hammond's like doing that, like, come on, little one, come
Right.
on. It's like a baby
Right.
dinosaur that's probably going to eat somebody's face later. But oh, it's so cute, right? It's like, and then like the awe and wonder of the really big ones. And then, you know, it's just like there's all these emotions that they let the dinosaurs draw out of us, and it's just crazy how, like you said, they didn't go cheesy. It didn't go instant horror. There's still dinosaur, like the vegetarian girl. I forget her name, but the little, one of the kids, where she's constantly
Lex.
Is this vegetarian? Is this vegetarian? Is this a meat eating one? You know, so I just like, she's always on the fence of like, I don't know my dinosaurs, but that's right. There's so many different ways to treat the dinosaurs in the movie. Very respectful too. Also, come on, the T-Rex is like, I want to see the T-Rex. I want to see the T-Rex. And they get excited in the movie. Oh my God, you have a T-Rex?
Yep.
Like, you have a T-Rex? And he's like, we have a T-Rex. And then they go and see the T-Rex, and it scares them shitless.
They're just as excited about us as the audience, you know?
And but then it's like scary, and then it goes into being the hero at the end in a weird way.
I was going to say, it's funny you bring that up. Another thing I didn't know was that Spielberg rewrote the ending because he was so impressed with the CGI from the T-Rex. So originally, the original ending was something a lot less, you know, impressive. It was just Grant facing off with the raptors, and he managed to like shoot one and kill one with like the, you know, the skeleton or whatever.
So this is so much more poetic because I
but
just saw it.
Now that they came up with like the CGI technology to basically do whatever they want, they had this huge, you know, fight between the T-Rex and the raptors, and like without that, like the ending would not have been not have been as impactful.
Dude, that T-Rex we constantly can hear when it's coming up. How do they like get surrounded by the velociraptors in that main lobby?
Doesn't matter.
T-Rex right there.
Okay, I'll say this. There's a couple things in Jurassic Park you have to kind of ignore. And even Spielberg ignored them, and he's cool with it. So I'm cool. The famous
cliff
exactly,
scene where like the T-Rex has this,
But you know, I think the most iconic part of the film is when right after the fight scene when the banner falls down.
I wrote that down.
Oh, so good.
The T-Rex has a velociraptor on him, and it's biting it, and eventually grabs it, and it flings it into the raptor into the fossils. Yeah. And then the fossils, I thought that was so poetic. And then, like you said, Nick, and then it does that money shot where it like roars, and right where the camera is, the banner falls down, and when dinosaurs rule the earth. It's just like whoever sketched that scene out must have like got up and just like knew like, oh, yes, we just made the greatest movie of all time with dinosaurs, something that's impossible.
As a creative person, I can't even imagine like that's one of those things that you stumble upon. You know, you don't plan it; it kind of comes and you're like, I just created gold. That is a rare experience, and it's just unbelievable.
Can we hold on? So we're going all over the place because this movie is awesome, but like, hold on a second. I was watching this movie and like, I was like, okay, this movie is perfect, right? It's like one of the top 10 movies of anybody's list.
Right.
What subgenre, like, or what genre would you put this in?
Dude, I was thinking about that, and
there's a bunch of different genres.
Yeah, man, exactly, dude. I think it's multiple genres. And I've been thinking about this like the whole time we've been talking, and even watching some commentary about Jurassic Park. So you have Jeff Goldblum's character Ian Malcolm, right? And that entire character, and I think this really clicked like recently, that his whole genre is just dark comedy.
Dark comedy, chaos theory.
Yeah, it's like this really deep existential problem, but at the same time, he's delivering in a way that is comical, and he's kind of like it's kind of funny. I don't think I realized this.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, he is the comedy relief. He's also kind of like the sexy kind of character in the entire film.
But he's also when he gets
injured, he's just laying on the table with his shirt like open. And,
exactly.
Oh yeah, he's trying to be real sexy in that scene.
Yep.
But he's the one that's just like he's like, I am just so blown away at like how overconfident you are. Remember like when Ham is trying to get everybody to buy in. It's like, so this is why I need everybody here to sign off. And like the only one that's backing me up is the lawyer. And he's just like, yeah, but like, you don't understand how dangerous this is. And then he says one of the coolest quotes of all time, which works so well with this movie, which is that your scientists were so caught up of trying to figure out if they could, that they didn't like bother to look if they should. I butchered that, but
It's close enough.
You know, it was glad 1-1.
Yeah.
But like,
and later in the
this
movie,
movie, same thing, balanced it so well.
yeah, later in the movie, Malcolm even says, I forget when, but he says like, I hate always being right, you know.
Oh, right, must go faster.
Yep.
This movie has quotes. Again, a good movie you can quote. Why is this movie so quotable? I don't know, but like, hold on to your butts. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Dude, never watch Jurassic Park with me. Like, I'm glad we watched this separately and not together for some reason. Like, I would destroy it because I'm literally quoting word for word the entire movie.
Yeah, you're right.
There's so much detail. Yeah, there's so much detail to it. Like, that's what I think is truly impressive. Is there's so many like sub plots to this that you can kind of pick apart and love. That
and everything closes so well.
Yeah,
all the fun plots.
Fun fact that I learned. Apparently, the hardest like special effect thing that they had to do in this movie was the iconic like water glass shot with the perfect circular rings when the T-Rex is walking up. Apparently they tried like so many different things to get those like perfect rings in the cup, and like their special effects department just could not figure it out. But I forgot who it was, whatever guy was responsible for doing that. He said he tried everything and he ended up going home and he like looked at his guitar and he was like, oh, maybe that'll work. So he put the water glass on top of his guitar, plucked a string, and it made like the perfect little rings in the water. Okay, so what they did was feed like a guitar string through the Jeep, and then every time the rings appeared, someone was plucking a guitar string underneath.
It's amazing, and that's such a beautiful piece of what's cool is the storyboards said, hey, we need these rings. That's what's going to build this. And then they said, we need to figure this out. And they did it. And I just love like the indie side of that too. Like there was almost like no rules. It's like, let's just figure this out. I can go back to the Renegade side of even doing the CGI. It was filmmaking at its most purest, which is very experimental. It's just artists kind of coming together and seeing what you can accomplish. And to make, I feel like I'm just like,
don't cry over there
talking about it. But it really, every single element of this film like came together. It's just so beautifully.
Everything, dude. Even the script. I was watching a guy review it on YouTube, and he called out one scene about how tight the script is, and I was like, wow, it really does speed up that whole subplot really well. And it's when Wayne Knight's character,
Nedry.
What is it?
Nedry,
yeah. He is in, I don't know, Hawaii or wherever he is. He's undercover. He's got his glasses. He's like pigging out, eating, and he's meeting that guy.
Dotson,
yeah. And he's like, Dodson here. We got Dodson. Nobody cares. Yeah, that scene's awesome.
Wayne Knight is great in this movie.
At the end of that scene, the woman drops off the receipt or the bill, and all he does is real quick with 2 lines is, "Don't get cheap on me, Dobson." And then he goes, "That's what Hammond did."
I noticed that too.
And you instantly know his motives, just like that. You don't have to have anything else to explain it. They do a little bit later when they draw the tensions between like, "Okay, Dad," and he's just like, I don't blame people for the mistakes, but I do I want them to like recognize them and like take responsibility. But like everybody makes mistakes. I get it. So there's like some kind of friction there, but I just thought that was well done because technically he's the villain. He's the one that kind of sees the opportunity, and then he's the one that kind of fucks everything up. Also, real quick, so he takes all those dinosaurs, and then he dies trying to make it to the dock to escape. Those all roll out into the water,
get covered by the mud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did they?
I think they just get buried. And that's it.
They don't. I'll say this on the Jurassic Park ride in Universal Studios. If you like peer into the forest, you'll see a little Barbasol shaving cream.
That's really cool. That's a great detail.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is
the
really
fact that you could remember that detail in the movie again just shows how good this movie is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the visuals and the sound, and again, like that
Speaking
script
of,
and the quotes.
I mean, we mentioned the music a little bit before, but John Williams, the score in this movie is like
I've been
probably one of
the
best, most iconic themes ever, I would say. Like when they're in the helicopter riding to the island and the theme just kicks in, like you get like legitimately emotional. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
Uh-huh. I like the violin sequence that comes in after it. It goes da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
They're
It's very menacing. It's very like tension,
right,
but beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's like so much I want to talk about when it comes to this film. Like even the soundtrack, you know, and this is just kind of a personal note. That was one of the first tapes I ever had. You know, like
get out, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I had a soundtrack, and so when I was younger, like right around that age, you know, I think so. It came out in '93, right? So this is I'm gonna give my age publicly on a podcast. I think I was like 4 years old, and I got a Walkman when I was 5, and the soundtrack is what was that. And I think Ghostbusters were the sound, like the only tapes I had, man. And so that was my first intake of really music, and that's kind of what inspired everything, you know, as far as music goes, as far as filmmaking goes. In me, my entire career is honestly based on this movie. Like, I don't want to get like, again, awesome. I don't want to cry on this freaking podcast. Oh
man, I'm gonna cry, man. But I had no idea.
But this like inspired me so much. Like as a 4 or 5 year old, thinking about how do you make films, and referencing Jurassic Park as the film that you're trying to imagine that they made. It's becoming very much a part of me. I am very grateful that I was in such a kind of a mindset, you know. So Brandon, when this came out, you're 7, 8, somewhere in that range.
He was 34.
93? No, yeah. I was in my 30s. Hold on, asshole. No, I was 12.
Okay.
I was 12.
So when it came out,
the perfect age.
Yeah, it is the perfect age. When I came out, I saw it in theaters. My parents were fortunate enough to take me to it, and I was probably like 5 years old.
You must have been scared shitless. And the opening scene, I don't know if anyone remembers it, but you always picture like, you know, like dun 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 dun.
Opening scene's scary, yeah.
It is.
The opening scene, it starts off with this like
the Raptors, yeah.
It starts, yeah, but the music, John Williams pulls like something out of like Star Wars with like the Sith, because it's like this kind of sound, like this kind of horn.
It is,
and then it goes into and there's like the synth and these chorus of dudes really deep. It's very like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. It gives you chills because you know
it does.
And then it does. Then it goes into like them trying to contain a fucking dinosaur, and the guy gets eaten, and it does that whole like shoot, and it goes right in his.
Well, he changes from a conservationist to like okay, let's skip all that.
Yep.
Like we have to be realistic about this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right,
dude.
I mean, we were talking about genres earlier, and there's definitely a horror element, because like Spielberg uses those classic like monster movie techniques. Like he doesn't show the raptors in that first scene. Mm-hmm. Like all you see is the guy like getting dragged into the pen
and an eyeball.
Like, yeah, exactly. You see the eyeball. Like you don't get to see the whole monster until much, much later in the movie. So that's very effective too.
Yeah,
the Velociraptor in general is just well done, from the CG at the end to just the way they explain. You know, the foreshadowing's there, man. Muldoon, right? Is that his name?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He's like kill them all. Like they should not exist.
Yeah.
And then he's like, they're smart. They're really smart. They are constantly learning, and even Grant, when he's talking about it to that kid who I thought was like a 40-year-old woman in that scene, it was like, this sounds more like a big turkey, like that kid. And I was like, is that a kid? But it is. But yeah, go back and watch that scene. It's weird. But he's explained his like, this thing's very scary, and when it's looking at you, it's too late, because the two on the sides are the ones that are going to get you, and that's exactly what gets Muldoon later on. And that guy is supposed to be like an expert on these things, and he couldn't figure it out.
There's like character development, not just on the human side, which they do beautifully, and just incredibly.
Grant's character's done well with the kids and shit, yeah.
But on the flip side, they're also doing it for the dinosaurs. And
Go on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing. Like these dinosaurs are just as much character built as your typical on-screen character. You know, just the anticipation to understand that the raptor, you know, like from the opening scene where the raptor is ruthless and can just tear someone apart, to, hey, you better watch out for these. And then,
Methodical.
when they're first
yeah.
watching them in the scene where they're feeding the cow, you don't even see the raptor. You just see the violence.
You just hear it.
The sound.
Yeah.
and
is
you're
insane.
uncomfortable. And then they're like, okay, let's go get some lunch. Let's go get some chili and sea bass.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They focus so much, like in the behind the scenes stuff that I watch, they focus so much on making the dinosaurs act like actual animals and not just like mindless monsters, like eating machines and everything. They tried to make it like how a dinosaur in its natural environment would actually act, like the velociraptors are hunters. The T-Rex is just basically just going after anything that he sees move, like it's using all those animal qualities and animal instincts. And like they're not in a natural environment. Like they built this like park around them and that's not where they're supposed to be. And they're, judging, by the movie, they escape and just do what they're meant to do.
And I just want to say this really quick. And I love that the entire cast, if at least in my memory, revolves around Jurassic Park. When I think of Sam Neill, Laura Dern, even Jeff Goldblum to some extent, and pretty much the rest of the cast, minus maybe Wayne Knight, they are Jurassic Park.
So, dude, real quick, Laura Dern, can I go on a little
Please do.
I don't know. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So I've seen this movie about 187 times, and her character is very interesting to me today, knowing with the conversation about women in general and just how we treat women in movies, especially in 2021. We're very aware of what we've done to women characters for a long time. But when I look at this movie, it is interesting, and it's very beautiful because this movie is groundbreaking as far as taking new scientific theory with dinosaurs evolving from birds, right? They kind of hit that right in the beginning. The T-Rex may or may not, see based off movement. I don't know. Some things have come and gone, but they propose a lot of ideas. They also said, hey, CG, if you do it right, can exist in movies and look awesome. And they did that, right? So there's all these like things that they did that's kind of evolving everything in many ways. And when they look at the female character, right, you're thinking, very attractive woman. Her whole point is to just be like a love triangle. And I love that Malcolm tries to go in and swoop in for like them to make the move on her. And she's so preoccupied with, I'm here and I'm with a dinosaur and it's sick and I think I know what's going on. And she's digging into shit and he's like, that's a big pile of shit or whatever. Like, and it's just like, it's like a wake-up call to him because she's not just like this piece of property or trophy for these men to fight over.
Right.
She's her own character. And then later on, she says something like, God creates dinosaurs. God kills dinosaurs. God creates man. Man creates dinosaurs. Dinosaurs eat man. And then she says,
woman rules the earth.
Inherits the earth.
Woman inherits the earth, yeah.
And again, and it's just like, her character is that line where like she's just not your average, I'm just a pretty woman that they'll fight over. And then she's the one later on in the movie where Malcolm's injured, Hammond's like kind of whatever trying to explain the schematics of the property and how to get the power back on. She's like, we can't wait. I'm gonna go. And Muldoon's like, I'll go with you because I got the gun and I know how to hunt these things. And when she's getting ready to go, Hammond's like, it really should be me that's going. And she's like, why? Because she's like, because I'm a man. And she's like,
I noticed that.
Well, when I'm back, we'll talk about that sexist shit. And the sexism shit. And she's right. And it's just like, her character is fucking badass. And dude, she's like leaping over shit. She's crying. She grabs like what's his face, like Sam Jackson's arm, and it's like detached. She almost got eaten by one jumping out. It's a straight up horror movie for this woman.
Probably the most level-headed character of the entire movie.
She is the big badass of the movie because everyone else is kind of making mistakes or kind of doing things, and she's the one who is literally doing everything. And she's, I don't know, she was a shit. So I got to give the movie kudos for just aging well in that sector where like we can look at a movie from the 90s surrounded by all these macho men and she's just as badass, if not the most badass person. And it's not cheesy or forced. It's it's exactly what we want out of a movie. And I don't know, it's just this movie just ages so well for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it really does. In so many capacities, from a storytelling capacity, from even a CGI capacity for the last probably trailing 15 years from when this came out. It was rare to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the biggest movie up until Titanic, I think, as far as like successful movie or something like that.
I think that's probably correct.
Office.
I want to say it's still, I don't know, the movies that made us thing was like, I think it almost made like $1 billion like globally, worldwide. So it might be like the highest grossing movie franchise. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
I mean, good for the team that worked on it. I mean, dude, every time I picture a scene, it's just like how did they know that when the girl, was it Lex or whatever, when they finally find safety, they finally get back to the main building and they're eating like food, and she grabs Jello, and there's like a cartoon of a velociraptor, and then a real one kind of like is behind it, and you see the silhouette. That's a cool shot. But you only know that shit's up because she's holding like Jello, and the Jello is jiggling like crazy. It's this green Jello, and it's just like, it's not soup, it's not cereal, it's not a salad, it's not. We need to show Jello because it'll really demonstrate how scared she is, and she's just like shaking. She can't even. If you wanted to do a trailer, I can't remember the trailer, but like you could show that scene, and people would get the point. Like, oh my god! And it is a scary movie. It has some scary. There are a couple of jump scares in this movie, and it's like that poor girl. Like, she's just in the car, and then she's like, "Where's the goat?" or something like that. And
oh, jeez.
A bloody leg is like laying on there. And then when the T-Rex is on it, this girl's scream is awesome because she screams like she's in a horror movie with the mud flowing in. And it's just, although
that's one of the reasons
that grabbed the goddamn flashlight. So kind of hurtful.
Right.
For that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's one of the reasons Spielberg wanted her, is because she could scream so well.
Yeah. I think he heard her scream, and that was all he needed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it does hold weight. I think that was one of the key factors in convincing him to use her, was it had that classic scream.
Yep.
And it plays off. You know, even I feel like there's 1,000 things I could talk about. Like even the T-Rex, he's got his mouth against the glass. And it's the same with like a shark, right? Like, if you stop a shark, if you stop a shark front on, they can't hit you because their mouth is kind of back, and that's the same thing that they were experiencing. Like, they were kind of able to survive in that kind of like when the glass breaks and they have it like above them, like the T-Rex really can't get past it.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. Yep. Yeah, there's a funny anecdote about Sam Neill and Grant's character. Steven Spielberg wanted Grant to have an American accent, obviously. And apparently Sam Neill's American accent was so bad that like 3 days into shooting, Spielberg just said, like, forget it, just use your regular accent. And he's from New Zealand. So some of the first scenes that they shot, like the Triceratops scene and like the electric fence scene, there are like points where you can clearly hear Sam Neill's New Zealand accent. Like there's one line where he's like, "Oh, I guess the power's off," and you can clearly hear his New Zealand accent coming through. But then,
it
like
doesn't
after
bother me if that's in there, yeah, dude.
It's funny because like after that, Spielberg's like, "Nah, go back to the American accent."
Yeah.
So that's why Sam Neill's American accent is just so bad. But I thought that was a funny story.
So real quick, I did not know this, but when I did do a little research on the making of it, Jim Carrey tried out for the Malcolm character.
Oh, wow. That would be a different movie.
So it would have been so weird. In like 1993, Jim Carrey was probably the biggest name.
He's at the top of his game.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought Jim Carrey in this movie would have been, as much as I love him, I think Jeff Goldblum just
it would have changed the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Nick was saying, like Jeff Goldblum has that dark comedy to him. And like I mean, Jurassic Park isn't like a super dark movie, but it's got a more serious overtone. Like it's dealing with some pretty
chaos
serious
theory
themes.
with the water, flirting with
Yeah.
Laura Dern with the hand thing. Could you imagine Jim Carrey being like, all right,
I just don't think he could pull that off.
like, oh, it'd be horrible.
Chaos theory.
Yeah, exactly. I could imagine that.
No, must go faster, faster. Somebody needs to like Jim Carrey needs to like kind of find a way to, or somebody dig up those scenes when he's like doing the readings or something like that. That'd be great.
You gotta cut this. You gotta cut this out of the
really
episode
good.
because I'm laughing my head off just thinking about.
Oh my god. I mean, it is funny to think about how like the almost and what ifs kind of thing, because Chris Farley, if he didn't die, he was going to be Shrek, and you can watch.
There are examples
Yeah.
of him actually running through the script.
Yeah. So it's a what if could have kind of thing, but this is a little bit different. I think Spielberg's like, Jim,
Spielberg pretty much
I'd like to work with you, but not this movie.
Yeah, Spielberg pretty much got everybody that he wanted to get as far as actors go. Like he knew he wanted Jeff Goldblum for Malcolm. He knew he wanted Sam Neill for Grant.
Oh, okay.
He knew he wanted Laura Dern for Sadler. Like he
I don't know how that
he
works.
picked out these actors and he
Who do you want?
He knew he wanted
That's
to
the
get.
one. Like, how do you Neil? I didn't even know who that guy was until he was in Jurassic Park. But
I was gonna say at the time, like all of the actors he got were like, I mean, they weren't like household names. So I think it was much easier to get them. And this is kind of the movie that launched all of their careers.
It reminds me kind of The Office a little bit. Like a lot of the people in The Office are really congruent with, their personality is unfortunately typecast into The Office, and I think that's what the appeal to it is you can kind of look at these characters as fully invested in this film, and here we're almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how well it holds
and
up.
I still think of a lot of these as it's incredible.
I'm pretty sure they're all looking back and that the day that they said yes to this movie and smile, because I think Spielberg knew when Crichton was working on the book, he's like, I want this movie or something like that, and then like it was a big. Everybody knew, and even Crichton knew, was like, I want a shit ton of money for this, and I will do the screenplay and all that stuff. And I know a lot of people helped with that, but everybody knew this was going to translate well to a movie. I would like to read the book someday. I think it's not going to be as good as the movie. I think this is one of the ones where they did a better job.
That's Spielberg. That's Spielberg for you, man.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg magic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Spielberg just when he's really good, he's one of the best. I don't know if he's always making the best movie, but he was making Schindler's List at the same time he was making Jurassic Park.
That blew my mind.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was like once a week he was like doing Zoom calls with people.
He said he was doing Schindler's List in like the days and Jurassic Park in the nights, or vice versa.
No, exactly.
Whatever, but it was insane.
Yeah, and he had like some of the technology. Like, okay, we're on Zoom right now.
And
That's how we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want to get behind the scenes, but that's how we're doing it. and
well, there's the movie magic for you all.
They had to with Spielberg. He was literally video conferencing their team. Before that technology even existed, they had invented technology to even make that happen.
I know.
It's mind-boggling.
He's like directing
and
the movie
because
remotely.
Look at this son of a bitch is the same guy who fucked around with Jaws. Remember that? And he's just like, oh my God, the shark looks so bad, man. What is he? And he's got like, he couldn't sleep. He was literally throwing up. He wasn't eating. He was like a mess. And he's like, I just started my career and I ended it with this one movie. And then he's like, the POV shit is what saved the day. Don't show the shark. Just don't show it. And they figured it out. And he's like, I mean, he's definitely one of the best directors ever.
I mean, yeah.
And this is one of the best movies. And he's made some of the best movies.
The George Lucas, Steven
Jaws,
Spielberg
Indiana
combo,
Jones.
like what they worked on together, like I don't know, dude.
Did
like,
Lucas do anything with this movie? I know he ran like
I'm sure they,
ILM and all that stuff. But,
besides like what, besides the ILM side of it,
I mean,
like,
they're best friends.
right,
He probably
right.
said something.
Yeah, they probably had
got-
conversations. Like,
better have some horror in there.
It's like-
oh yeah, that's good.
yeah, like there's definitely probably behind the scenes conversation that you don't see in any of the featurettes where he's talking about like maybe we could amp that up a little bit. Like I have such a respect for that friendship.
I know Lucas was in the screening of the first like CGI T-Rex like fully skinned and modeled walk cycle through the field. Yeah. And like they were all just blown away by that. That's the moment they knew where they, where they had to scrap the stop motion and go with the CGI. Yeah.
I think we need to give, and this is kind of talking about Laura Dern and kind of her character.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy in the producer role.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably one of the most important producers of all time.
Oh, dude, dude, Kathleen Kennedy fan over here, and I think everybody that keeps yelling her name because her name's on Star Wars now doesn't know what they're fucking talking about. It drives me crazy because like she's ruined Star Wars. Like you dumb fucks don't understand that her name is on everything you like.
Exactly.
Everything you love, her ass has been tied to it. She knows what she's doing. You're just mad that you didn't get what your little head thought of, dude. Trust me, I think Kathleen Kennedy is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame that her name has been tarnished because people got upset with the new movies of Star Wars.
Dude,
but
like she's the behind the scenes person that she's probably been running all of this the entire time. And there's a reason that you see her time and time again. I appreciate that we're able to actually talk about that as an entire concept.
Yeah, I just went in her IMDb and it's just ridiculous. She literally is in everything. If you like Hollywood, you can thank her. She's just knows what she's doing. And dude, like Spielberg, when we were talking about what he was doing, how old was he probably during the time he was making Jurassic Park and Schindler's List? Because I'm 40, I have 2 little kids, I freelance, I do a podcast, I play guitar, I take photos of toys. I'm always doing things and playing video games and watching shit. Like I'm always doing things, and I feel like I'm never keeping up. And
so he was in his late
Spielberg
40s. He was like 47 when Jurassic Park came out.
I'm exhausted sometimes at like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh man, I want to play Xbox, but I'm so tired. And Spielberg was like doing Schindler's List, this heavy thing, this realistic movie. And then he was doing something that was groundbreaking for a summer blockbuster. And it's just, how did he do it? And it's just, because the guy probably gave up a few years of his life to make this shit for us so that we can want to make movies ourselves. It's just incredible that one guy can do. He had people with him. I'm just saying though, like we know his name because his name's on the line and he is the man and he just fucking delivered. It really is impressive. You don't appreciate it until you see decades of movies since that are good, not good, live up, don't live up, like Lord of the Rings lived up, but not everything does live up to the hype.
There's no doubt that his level of excellence has played into everything since then.
Right. Although I will say this, I feel like Spielberg's not as hot. Although he is 70-some years old. I don't think his name. Yeah, I don't know. The last time I was wowed by a movie, but this was definitely one of those movies.
I mean, you got recently Ready Player One, which it's fun, but it's not like at that
I liked
Spielberg
it.
level.
I enjoyed the ride. I think I can be less critical in some capacities, and just enjoy the film. You can go either way. But
I haven't seen it. I watched like the first hour, maybe not even the first hour. The whole Get Over Kong kind of scene thing or whatever, go under it kind of thing, whatever. I saw that and then I kind of stopped after that. I'll go back to it.
You have to kind of think about it just as us as humans, right? Like people want to retire, people want to have a break. He's done incredible things and there's no shame.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
He's already had an amazing career. Like,
that's true.
If he wanted to retire, like,
and Ready Player One, I actually really enjoyed.
Okay. It's more of an homage too, probably, right? It's just like, hey, Hollywood, we've done all this stuff together, or like, humans have come up with everything. Like video games are in there.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I've done these things. Hey, the new upcoming people, take this and have fun with it.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll go back and watch it. I didn't dislike it. I stopped watching it because like, man, I don't know. The kids are kind of hearing some words I don't think they probably should hear actually in this. But Jurassic Park, I couldn't stop. I could never stop watching that movie. How do you stop watching that movie? You know,
Is it? I don't want to be over aggressive when I say this, but he's probably one of the best directors of all time.
Well,
and,
yeah.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Back to the Future.
Don't even get me started. You've talked my top 10 films are right in that. And
it's something to be said. So real quick, before we wrap up this and we'll go into the game, we can't not talk about this. I don't want to go too long on it, but there is a fucking franchise called Jurassic Park,
boy.
Jurassic World, blah, 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 blah. I think they all suck. I think compared to the first one.
Wait. Before you say they all suck, I actually really love The Lost World Jurassic Park, which is part 2.
I would say that's probably the second best because of that ending scene at the end, and it's got more Jeff Goldblum, but...
That's probably the one I've seen the least. Like, I vaguely remember it, you know.
I don't think I remember anything
but
but the third.
Yeah, I've seen the third one a couple of times just because I have some nostalgia for it.
Right. But I'll forgive... I mean, come on. You have the greatest movie of all time. How do you make a sequel? Not everybody's going to make Empire Strikes Back, right? Not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to make Terminator 2. It's hard to follow up. So with Jurassic Park, I think we all wanted it. Even still today, we're still like, oh my God, new Jurassic Park movie or whatever it is. As much as I disliked the newer movies, I think they don't have any of the magic. I did like... Did you guys watch the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. I did like that girl was a clone
Mm-hmm.
of a dead character, and they cloned her. I thought that was really cool that they think that they could clone humans. I did like that idea of this cloning technology.
Let me just say this. I don't mean to like take like a ton of like time in here, but like, so in Jurassic World or the sequel to Jurassic World,
Yeah.
that was one of the most emotional, saddest scenes I've ever seen.
Wait, what?
Like when the dinosaurs are trying to like they're desperately trying to get on the airplane that's like leaving, dude.
And that one,
I can't watch that movie again
because
dude,
and it's just
yeah. I literally
I haven't seen it yet. You're making me want to watch it.
Dude, here
There's
I go
like
crying
this
again.
One scene out of nowhere where it just gets like sad. They're like, somebody wrote this scene that says, I don't care, Gary. Whatever you do, just make sure that this one scene is in it, all right? It has to be. I don't care what's going on. And it happens in the movie. They're like leaving the island on this big ass boat. All the dinosaurs are on there. And then this one dinosaur was left behind. And it's like,
I don't know if it's because I love Jurassic Park so much or because like my own emotional response as a human.
Yeah.
To say
yeah, it is a sad
that
scene
was
regardless.
That was one. It's one of the most saddest scenes I've ever seen. I literally can't watch the film again because, like,
right. If a dog dies, I can't see it. If a kid dies, I can't see it. If a dinosaur dies in the fire, I can't watch it.
It's sickening. It's sickening.
Yeah, dude. No, it's a good. I would say it's better than the one that came out before it, out of the two new ones. But
that was just trying to like get everybody excited about what's to come. You know,
yeah.
I like Chris Pratt. I like the journey of Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's great, but
you know,
talking dinosaurs on motorcycle. I don't know that.
It was it was the same thing with as Force Awakens. Like it was a soft reboot of like they tried to recapture the nostalgia from the first one, you know, because they showed like the Jeep and the goggles, and you had all these moments where they tried to get you feeling nostalgic, and that it worked in some points, but not.
Oh yeah, it was cool when they went to the old Jurassic Park lobby. That was pretty cool when they went in there. No, but I don't know, whatever.
This is a side note again. I don't mean to go into like a sponsorship scenario, but when I went to Universal Studios in February, they've got the visitor center like completely built out.
Oh yeah,
they got the gates that you walk through, like the Jurassic Park gates, and they have some of the vehicles, like they have the Ford Explorer that they kind of decked out with the moonroof and everything.
That's awesome.
And I had my wife take a couple pictures with me, like just in front of that thing, like. It's
that's like it's one of those. Yeah, it's like there's a couple things you want to do. You want to like walk through the gates of Jurassic Park. You want to like I don't know, get like orange or blue milk at the cantina in Star Wars, like Mos Eisley or something like that. There's like certain things in the movies that you wish you could do. Sit in the Mandalorian, sit in the DeLorean. I'm with you on that, dude. Those gates again. The art direction of Jurassic Park is just like you can't just have a normal gate. You got to have this fucking gate. Like King Kong is behind that thing.
It was inspired by King Kong, like the 1933 King Kong movie. Steven Spielberg was really inspired by that
okay.
movie.
I knew the line was thrown in there. I didn't know if
that's why the line was in there. Yep.
Because
see, basically took the gate from King Kong, and he's like, "Yep, that's what I want the entrance to Jurassic Park to be."
Okay. All right. Well, dude, we've been talking about this movie for like an hour. I think we can wrap it up. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we go to break and play our game?
Okay, I'll give 3 random things really quick.
Do it.
This is funny. So, my one of the buddies who was my roommate for a long time when I was like in college. He had one of the teeth from the T-Rex.
That's really cool.
Yeah, his stepdad was like in the art department.
Okay.
And so I actually got to hold one of the teeth that was in the actual scene from when the T-Rex is above the car.
That's
above
awesome.
the Ford Explorer.
Really?
Yeah. And just, now it's all broken and decrepit, and so you can see all through it.
Don't tell me that part.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I apologize. But to be able to hold something like that was part of the set.
It's a
prop.
movie relic. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was. This movie, not to like, go back. Like, it inspired literally the entire my entire career. And so that's why I'm really grateful to you guys to let me as a guest on this podcast.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would think about this as a 5-year-old. Like, how did they do the sound design? How did they film this? And I had no idea.
Yeah, at that age too, you didn't even think about that shit because you just watched the movie. But in this one, it's just like, wait. How are they doing this?
Yeah, exactly. And to be able to hold a prop from the set,
yeah, that's cool.
Is so special to me.
Yeah.
And being the first soundtrack I ever listened to, like I literally thought, like, how are movies made?
When you held the tooth, were you like?
Dude, you know what's crazy is the detail they put into a tooth. They're putting the lines on it. You're not gonna see that on the film.
No.
This might be a part of the tooth that's not even in the film, and the art department did such a fantastic job to try to showcase all that.
What were the other 2 things you wanted to share, Nick? You had
cool things. I mean, the other things are,
I have a Velociraptor at home.
I stole
one.
This is kind of weird, but like you see in the beginning of the scene, they're kind of uncovering these fossils, which I think like inspired a whole subplot of anthropology to try to understand like how these things.
That's true. Actually, I saw that they had record numbers after the movie came out. Like more than ever, people were into it, which is kind of cool.
Well, so I was in college around like 2006, 2007.
Yep.
And I remember, so I went to school for business, but I remember, like, I talked to multiple people that were going for anthropology and understanding that whole and what's wild is,
and they were in denial that Jurassic Park was why they were doing. No, I didn't even see that movie. What's it about?
and you're learning about these things. That's why this film has so many multiple levels.
Yeah,
is I think it expanded your mind a little bit to understand like what we the human experience, what our responsibility is on this planet, what we should be caring about.
Right?
Should we be caring about things that have become extinct because natural selection said that they shouldn't exist anymore, and now we have the responsibility to say, as humans, should we protect that?
Why it was just awesome with the CG. Should we go down? Should we do this? Should we really start playing around with CG in movies? Because we've been doing all this stuff with like animatronics and stop motion. I'm with you on that. It makes you think in so many levels, and like it's like on the meta level and just like the general overall. What are they really trying to say? Should we fuck around with science or not? Should we really COVID? People, a lot of people think that it may or may not have been made in a lab. You know, like, are humans making stuff like diseases? Is this something that we should or shouldn't be doing? You know, so it's very relevant.
We should just
today.
turn into a conspiracy podcast.
Oh my God, no!
Welcome to conspiracy.
All right, well, hold on, real quick, and then what's the last one you got there, Nick?
The other thing is the sound design and the soundtrack. One of the major effects I've had on my life. I listened to the soundtrack as a very young child, and it had a major inspiration on kind of my musical journey going forward.
Oh, okay.
From a sound design perspective, like, I remember understanding that there's not always a correlation between what you're hearing and what you're feeling and what somebody created to kind of give you that feeling. So, for example, when they're in the I don't even know what you call it, like the lab, and they're seeing the velociraptor break from the egg for the first time.
Yep. Yeah, early in the movie. Yep.
Yeah, they used an ice cream cone. They broke apart the ice cream cone as the sound design for how that raptor was emerging from that egg. And I remember that's something that has stuck around with me probably for 20 years.
That makes me think it's ILM that did the audio then, because the way they made the sound effects for that movie was like wild. Like, it was like a motorcycle engine. It was electric wire.
Yeah, it's all just Foley artists.
Crazy.
Like, that job sounds so fun to do, you know, being a Foley artist.
It is. Just like, oh, hold on a second. I was just sitting down, and then my wife opened up her lunch, and she made the sound. I was like, that sounds like, you know, like, how do you know to take an ice cream scoop? It's like, hold on a second. That's what it sounds like. I think as a designer, a senior designer role these days, like, when I meet kids, I'm always like trying to tell them, like, hey, listen, like, yes, there's templates and processes and all these things that are out there, but really, if you really want to stand out, you really want to do something cool, just make it any way you can. Use your brain, think outside the box. It sounds cheesy, but honestly, to stand out, sometimes you got to do something that's unorthodox, something different. Just go for it, because you don't know what you're going to make. And that's the beauty of creating something that's never been made before, is that it's never been made before. So then you can make it any way you want. So when they were making these dinosaurs come to life, right, Nick? Like, that's they didn't just like cop out and just like, oh, let's take like a Komodo dragon, you know? They or Eric, you were calling it out. Like, they took like a fucking dolphin and they took all these sound effects. Like, I think that's so cool, and that's what I think that pays off. I think that's why we can in our heads still hear these dinosaurs today, like almost 30 years later.
Well, you see many films from here on out copying that, what the template that Jurassic Park created.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking, really. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, all I have to say to wrap up, fantastic movie, one of my favorites of all time, groundbreaking. Listen, if you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're listening to this. Go watch it. That's all I got.
One of my favorite lines in that movie is when Malcolm goes to the he's like, you will have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour. He's just like, I love
that's
that.
A good line.
I remember
that.
in the movie laughing at that, and I just still laugh at it today. All right, that's Jurassic Park. Let's take a break, and then let's play 20 questions movie themed right after this. Like a really cool T-Rex that was brought back from extinction, we're back. Was that cheesy? That was kind of cheesy.
I liked it.
I'm sorry. That was lame. That was lame.
Good transition.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I don't think I did him justice.
Close enough.
Whatever. I'm on theme. But anyways, yeah, we're back, and we're back with a game. This is a new one, and it's a special one because Nick's here, and he's a movie guy. So Eric and Nick are going to work together.
Teamwork.
I was gonna say normally we're competing against each other, so it'll be different.
We're gonna do 20 questions, but it's gonna be a movie.
Okay.
So the only thing is, there's only a couple of rules, really. You can't just guess a movie 4 questions in and then think you can keep going. As soon as you guess the movie, it's game over. Okay.
Okay.
So I would, if anything, save it until you're 100% certain, or it's the last question and you just got to take a guess. So question 20 will be
Your guess.
Fair
Yep.
enough.
Yep.
Other than that, like, sky's the limit. I'll do my best to say yes or no to it. And that's it. So yeah, 20 questions.
Here we
All
go.
right,
Find the
let's
movie.
do it.
So here
I was
we
gonna
go.
say,
All right, I'm ready.
Let's just start throwing stuff out. I'll throw
Yep.
one out. Was this movie released after the year 2000?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we've got a 20-year span there. Let's see. Nick, you got anything?
Does this film require CGI?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Let's see. Was this movie released after the year 2010?
No.
Mm.
Okay. All right. 2000 to 2010. Good.
Yep. Only a couple movies made in that 10-year span.
And
Only a couple.
we discussed this a little bit more on break, but this podcast is very liberal in its in its ability to consume alcohol.
Oh yes, 100%.
So
if you're sober on the show, you're doing it wrong.
I'm not sober anymore. That being said, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of film.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Well, then, all right, movie guy. What's your next question?
Does your film require children actors?
No.
Okay.
I like all these
No
requirements
child
you got here. All right. Yeah.
No CGI, no child
2000s
actors.
movie.
Interesting.
Yep.
Shit. Okay. Is this? Man, there's so many genres of movie. I would love to pare it down.
There are no parrots. No,
Is
just kidding.
there's no parrots? Would this movie fall in the comedy genre?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm probably too drunk to talk about drama or thriller or horror. Oh, geez.
Well, the good news is it's a movie that I'm pretty sure you guys have seen. So
Okay.
don't think of too deep on what movie it could be.
Okay. Does this film include concepts that are related to future events?
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that kind of answers a good question. So I assume that means it takes place in present. Well, that could either mean present or past.
You have to remind yourself that
well-
Brandon was born in like 1980.
81. Hold on a second. This movie was made in the 2000s.
Okay.
And when it came out, it was present day when it came out, if that helps.
Fair enough.
So the setting is present day. Okay.
To
So
a
that's
degree.
kind of a freebie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Technology has violently exploded.
Time has moved on since this movie came out, too. So our present day is not
let's-
the same, but yes.
Let's see. Man, movies are a lot harder than video games. Was this movie well received by critics
Oh, yeah.
when it came out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well received.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Assuming popular, good movie. Came out in the 2000s. Not a
Yep.
comedy.
8 questions in. Come on.
This makes it really difficult.
I really want to know genre.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Seriously.
Go for it.
Well, we've removed comedy from it, which
Right.
is probably the easiest part of it.
Yeah. Yes, you guys are so close. It's not a comedy.
Right.
Is it an action film? I know it's a really simple question.
Or we
I
could
would
say,
s-
is there action elements in this movie? Like, action scenes.
Yes. I would
Okay.
say it's not an action movie, but there are some killer action scenes in it when it happens.
Okay. All right.
I've got
that's
my
9
mind
questions,
wrapped
yep.
around a movie right now, and it's hard for me to think outside of it.
Oh boy. So
Okay.
why don't you try to eliminate it then? What's a question that would kind of eliminate it, but also help you find out what else it could be?
That's a great question.
I'll just say, does this movie how do I want to phrase this? Well, I can't. You said it was set in modern day, so I don't really want to ask that. Man, I don't even know what to ask at
We
this
get
point.
20 questions, right?
Yeah,
20
what are we up
questions.
to right now?
9. So you got 11.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you some easy ones you could ask. So think about gender, think about franchise, think about
that's a
stuff
good
like
one.
that.
Is this movie part of a franchise?
Yes, it is part of a franchise. So I just helped you with that. Question 10.
Okay,
Is it
that
a
is a
franchise?
good question.
Yes.
I should have.
2000 movie that's part of a franchise. Drama,
Ooh.
it has some action in
An
it.
action drama.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting concerning.
And it's well liked.
Right, very well received by critics.
Does the main character have success in finance?
Oh, wow. That is an interesting question.
That is an interesting question.
I would say yes.
Oh.
The way the main character holds themselves. They ain't broke.
Is this movie an adaptation of another medium?
I believe it was a book, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Ooh.
12. That's 12 questions. You got 8 more?
Part of a franchise, but also adapted from a book.
Yep.
Huh.
I feel like that alone should help you.
I was gonna say, yeah, that
It should help, but is it?
Definitely.
Apparently not.
Down a little bit, man.
We welcome audience participation, even though this is a recorded podcast.
I know people are like yelling out.
Yeah, I know.
I would ask this question. Why are they asking that question?
Are there any fantasy elements in this movie? Like,
fantasy?
Do any of the characters?
No. I think this movie's
so
trying to be more.
It's
realistic.
grounded.
Yeah, it's grounded.
Like grounded and okay, all right.
Yep.
That helps.
Yeah, I think that's 12 questions. You got like 8 more. Let's just say 8 more. That was question 12. Question 13. What do you got?
Is the main character on a quest to figure out why this is all happening?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if that helps. I feel like the main character of this film is very relatable to me right now.
Well, I will say that the main character likes to have a beverage.
Likes to have.
Same with me. Brandon, is this character me? I like to have a beverage.
It's your documentary.
Yeah,
that
it's
came
a
out in the early
documentary
2000s.
film on me.
Let's throw out an easy one. Is this character a man? Main character a man?
Yeah. Yep. That's like
Okay.
14 questions. You got 6 more to go.
I feel like I have like an encyclopedic mind when it comes to movies, and I'm a little stumped.
But that could hurt you because then you have like 1,000 movies in your head when your
That's
average
true.
movie watcher just has like 10.
Right.
That is true.
All right. Well, it's a movie that came out in the 2000s starring a man. I gave you the hint that he also likes to have a beverage. It's a drama that has some action scenes in it. And it's part of a franchise that is based off of books.
Oh my god.
I don't know what else I could say.
I was gonna
to
say
help
this
you
should
with
be.
that. I feel like
That should give us a pretty
and it's not a
clue,
comedy.
but
Yep.
it's not a comedy.
He's on a quest
Establish that
to find
He's
the
on a
answers.
quest.
I guess that works out in this way. Yep.
Let's see. Is there a main villain in this movie, like a main antagonist?
Yeah,
in
there
this
is.
movie?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it's not like so. It can't. I mean, I asked about the fantasy because I was thinking it might be like a superhero type movie, but it
Right.
doesn't sound like it.
No, because remember,
to
it's
me.
more realistic. There's no fantasy stuff to it. It's more grounded. It's realistic.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Man, I can't. Seriously, this is tough with the movies. There's so many different.
There's
Things you could
literally
go with.
100,000.
There's a couple movies that exist. Yes.
All right, what question? How many questions are we at?
You're at you have 5 questions left.
Okay.
4 actually, because the last one is going to be your movie. So you have 4 questions to try to whittle it down, and then your final guess.
Nick, you got anything?
I think we might be able to condense it a little bit if we understand maybe some of the production crew.
Sure.
Yeah, actors,
Okay.
directors, but yeah, there's so many to choose from.
I don't think the director's going to help you with this one.
Well,
honestly,
No,
then
okay.
that excludes a few directors as well.
I was gonna say that's a decent.
Yeah.
hint
That's a
there.
hint. Yep. I want you guys to win. I want you guys to get
I know. This is hard.
Yeah.
this. Trying to think about maybe like actors. Try to think about the music. Think about all the things we just did with Jurassic Park, where like the things around the movie, not the movie itself, but the things that made it. Like those tend to help me figure out something. So I would say, think of things that make this movie unique. What could you ask that separates movies from other movies? You did that in the beginning because you guys were like talking about like, is there fantasy elements in here, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's part of a franchise.
Yeah.
I know.
In the
That's what's
2000s,
tripping me
that
up.
went over well.
Franchise that went over well.
Based off of a book.
Yeah, because like I had in my head like Lord of the Rings, but I asked about
Yeah,
fantasy
there's
elements.
only
I had
there's
in my
only a
head,
few that come to
like-
mind.
Okay, let's hear
Yeah,
it.
Well, like he's just said it. Like
But without fantasy.
without fantasy.
I know. Well,
Without
the fa-
fantasy.
like,
Yep.
because I was thinking of like Batman Begins too, but that's not it either because it's not like
Yeah.
superhero.
So from 2000 to 2010, you've got
Then I was thinking like Men in Black, but that's not
right.
it.
All of them fall into this category of somewhat fictitious.
Oh man, I thought this would have been easy.
It probably is easy. That's a problem. That's a
I was
problem.
gonna say I'm sure we're making it harder for ourselves.
Yeah, I would say so. Yep.
So clearly there's some famous actors in this movie. But like who was popular in the 2000s?
Charlize Theron.
Wait. Hold on. Well,
What?
I had an idea.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking Mission Impossible, but you said it. I mean, we asked about action, and you said it wasn't an action movie, but it has action in it. And Mission Impossible is purely an action movie, so it can't be that.
I like what you're thinking. I like where you're going with that.
Okay.
So you got a question that can help you with that?
I was just thinking, like, is Tom Cruise in this movie? But I don't want to ask that. Oh man. Let's see. Is this the first movie in the franchise?
No, it is not the first movie in the franchise, but in a way, it is the first movie in the franchise. It's one of those franchises.
Oh,
That kind of talk when you start talking about
it's
that
like reboot.
Yeah,
style.
you kind of invoke. You do invoke James Bond. You invoke things like Spider-Man or Avengers or even some of the Marvel comics that had reboots.
That's why I'm stuck on superheroes, but it can't be superheroes because I already asked about like it's more grounded.
Yep.
And some of the recent superhero films have been a little more grounded. You know, even when you think about watching the Dark or Batman Begins or the Dark Knight, like
Yeah,
I
see what you're saying.
I appreciate those films because they're kind of realistic. Yeah, they bring the realistic aspect to it. All right, here's my guess.
Oh man,
as a joke, Scooby-Doo the movie.
It is not Scooby-Doo the movie.
Oh my god.
Oh boy, that would have been funny if I.
That's it. That's the one.
No, I'm obviously a joke.
So it's okay. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not the first in the franchise, but the way you framed it, it's like a soft reboot kind of.
Yes.
That's where I'm arriving as well.
Yes. Yep. You use the question to get that. So
God,
you have
that
like
should
4
give us
questions. Yep.
That should give us such a huge clue, but I can't.
Oh my god, this is painful at this point.
I know.
I feel like
I'm
I should
sorry.
just say it. It's like Saving Private Ryan all over again with you guys.
Oh my God, Saving Private
Oh man,
Ryan.
that was brutal.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Vin Diesel's in a movie with Matt Damon? What is this movie?
And Tom Hanks. Listen, I've never seen it, so
Yeah.
that's one I gotta watch.
Yep.
I don't know why. I'm just having I'm just blanking out right now.
It's this weird thing of like there's a decent amount of them and also a very strict amount of them as well. I'm trying to like
you're hovering around it.
I'm trying to like psychoanalyze.
Yeah, it's definitely
Brandon.
It's got to be something like a Mission Impossible James Bond type movie, but less actiony.
Right.
Because it's definitely in that realm, but
I feel like I can't give you guys any more hints without telling you the name of the movie or like what the name of the main character is.
Oh my God.
Again, 2000s movie. It's kind of like a soft reboot, part of a franchise. Drama with some action in it. Really good action. Main character is a man. Pretty grounded movie. Was well received. And trying to think what else. The main character also enjoys a beverage.
Okay.
And it's not James Bond, like, unless it is. I don't know. The whole action, like,
you guys say
drama
Mission
with some
Impossible and
action
James Bond, and I don't know
it's throwing me off.
why you don't think it would be that. I haven't heard a reason why.
Because you said it was because you said it. What I would classify those as action movies, and you said it wasn't an action movie.
Action is Avengers. I don't know if I look at Mission Impossible or anything like that and think, like, I guess those are action because they have high action in them, but there's also a lot of fucking talking in it. But whatever.
I would classify Mission Impossible 100% as an action movie, but now I'm thinking,
again, I can't call this movie an action movie, even though you might think about it afterwards. But I honestly, I can't.
Is this part of is this a James Bond movie?
Yes, it is.
Is this Casino Royale?
It is Casino Royale. Oh my God. Thank you.
Jeez, man.
Listen, that whole non-action drama thing threw me off. Yeah.
But think about it. The parkour scene in the beginning of the movie is sick. But other than that,
I can't believe
not much. It's a poker game and shit for the second half.
Okay.
Or more.
Yep. Because I was like, when Nick brought up like James Bond, like I was like,
I know. I was like, all right,
all the criteria.
I was like, all right, they got it. And I guess they don't.
I sometimes when you're talking about these types of things, you don't want to be cliche.
I know.
And like,
I wanted to pick a movie that I guaranteed you guys have at least.
I was stuck on like, personally, I would say James Bond is like action, like.
I know, but watch Casino Royale and tell me.
I could see how Casino Royale could be more of a drama. Yeah. Okay.
Oh well, because Casino Royale has multiple stages.
Right.
It has that kind of cool element. Then it has the drama element, and it has this really emotional.
But not much comedy.
Like.
But it's also a 2.5 hour movie. So you're
what year did that come out? Like 2009.
2006.
Oh,
2006.
that old? Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, probably around that time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember watching. So my friends were like, "Hey, let's go watch this new movie that just came out.
Yeah,
it's called Casino Royale." And for some reason, I didn't connect that it was James Bond at the time, which I'm a big James Bond fan.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the Pierce Brosnan ones. I thought they were so cheesy. And then when this came out, I was just like, I finally can get into James Bond. Because this one was good. So, I love this movie.
What's funny is, like, when you grow up, I think you have a different bias towards which James Bond, like, you're affected by.
Which one are you?
Like,
which one are you?
Yeah, well, I felt in this weird category of GoldenEye and Pierce Brosnan being my James Bond.
It was for me because, I mean, Pierce Brosnan was, like, in all the video games I played when I was younger. He was the face of James Bond. So, like, he was James Bond for me. But with enough, like poking and prodding and hints, Brandon, we got it. We got it.
Yeah. All right.
The Daniel Craig James Bond feels on point.
Right. Yes, he's super good at it. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for playing. glad that we got there.
That
I
was
was like,
fun.
man, I don't want to do the first round of this, and then we don't.
Yeah,
have a
movies.
winner,
I mean,
but
movies. You have like
it's tough.
what 150 years of movies. With video games, you have like
Hey,
30,
I'm
40
ready
years.
to do
You
it.
know,
Eric, next episode, you or Dave can host, and I'll be ready.
We should.
I've got awesome questions to.
When it comes to Casino Royale, and this again, when I watched it, I was probably like 20 years old.
Right.
Eva Green as the
Oh yeah.
kind of main female,
Yeah.
like that rocked my world.
Yeah. Yeah. She had a cool look for sure.
yeah.
yeah, that was fun.
All right, well,
we'll have to do that next week.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for playing along, gentlemen. So we can wrap up. Eric, real quick, if you want to just kind of plug in some social, and then I'll let Nick plug in some of his social, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah,
Sure,
I'll just
sure.
do all the plugs. You can follow us on Twitter at Nomads of Fantasy. You can email us, nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com. You can follow us and watch us on Twitch whenever we do some Twitch streaming at twitch.tv/nomadsoffantasy. I put out a call out on Twitter just to see what everybody's favorite, we said we were talking about Jurassic Park. See if anybody had any favorite memories. And our buddy Jake Ivison, again, responded on
Yeah.
Twitter. He said, the chills as a kid watching this movie, as soon as you saw the vibrations in the water of the heavy footsteps
Yep.
from the T-Rex were real. Also, watch this one a lot as a family. We would often joke about how quickly Nedry gets killed off because of our love for Seinfeld.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah, that was a cool one. Thanks, Jake, for sharing that. But yeah, like I said, just a fantastic movie and holds up
Gives
today.
chills. Not many movies give you. Not
Absolutely.
many movies give you chills. Yeah. So
Yep.
that's a good point. Thank you for writing in. All right, and Nick, is there anything that you want to plug? Anything going on here?
For sure.
Stage is yours.
Yeah. Well, what I want to just say, like, I feel amazingly blessed. I got to be part of this episode.
The Jurassic Park episode.
Yeah, man. Happy to have you.
It's a monumental feat. Yeah. I feel like I could go on and on, just talking about this film.
But I'm too drunk to do it.
That's part of the equation for sure. I think for me, this is definitely a film that kind of revolutionized the way I thought about the creative. Really kind of opened my mind, expanded my mind, if you will.
Mhm.
Here we are as adults. If we want to expand our mind, we're gonna try some acid. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's so.
As a young child, if I want to expand my mind, I watch Jurassic Park, and I think I'm eternally grateful. It's part of my story as far as where I came into creative or filmmaking or anything, because I pondered a lot about how they made it,
Yeah.
and I try to recreate that as a young kid, and I think that will forever be a part of who I am moving forward. And I don't know if Spielberg foresaw that the amount, especially with the age of the internet coming into fold shortly after, what that effect would be on the hundreds of thousands of people who are following the same career path, that will have an immense effect on the future of, honestly, the world.
Right. I think Michael Crichton and Spielberg have created a lot of dreams in a lot of people's lives, and a lot of people have pursued and become amazing people because of something like this movie or this story.
Yeah.
You are one of them.
True.
Mhm.
Truly inspiring. I can say that I 100% agree with that, and I don't think I'm the only one, and it'd be selfish for me to think that was the case. But yeah, as far as where I'm at, as far as social media, you can find me at Nick Arnot on most platforms, NickArnot. That's where I'm at most of the time. I'm trying to create legacy. I'm trying to create I don't like giving people a path where, like, there's clickbait or there's anything other than just something true that they can find with. I want to be part of the conversation in terms of inspiring people. So that's what you'll find with me. I have a new brand called Proof Positive that is really in the realm of creating documentary film and things that try to create an environment that expand people's minds to think like, hey, there's something bigger than myself or bigger than the environment that I'm in. I really want to inspire people. And I think that's what, as cheesy as it sounds,
that's cool, dude.
Yeah, that's
Jurassic
awesome.
Park did for me. And if I can impart that on anybody, that's a huge success.
Okay, yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
No, that's awesome. We do this show knowing that everybody talks about this stuff, but we're doing it because we want to do it and we want to talk about this stuff, and we're all about like collaborating and networking and all that stuff, but also just, I don't know, I hope that people get inspired to make a podcast, or maybe when next time they look at something, they wonder what went into making it. Why do I like this? Why do I hate this? Why do I want to tell other people about it? So it's all our style anyway. So thanks for being on the show tonight, Nick.
Yeah,
hope you had
thanks.
a lot of fun.
I'm incredible.
I think you did.
Yeah,
I think you cut loose, which is great. I told you gotta cut
Yeah.
loose, man. Don't be.
Hey,
We've tried being sober,
take any advice
and it's
I can.
hard. You gotta cut loose, man.
yeah. Well, I'm very grateful that I can be part of this particular episode.
Yeah.
This is something I'm actually very respectful of and influenced by. And like even when we were talking before we started the episode, even the fact that I got the VHS copy of the film,
Dude, cracks me up.
It's a monumental part of, I think, a lot of where people kind of got their inspiration to go into this field.
Well, I think I want to be, moving forward, I do want to actually kind of be a little bit more respectful of the topics that we pick, because I said, hey, Nick, what do you want to talk about? And you named off all these Spielberg movies and go, how about Jurassic Park? And you're like, please. I'm like, okay. And, some people are going to come out of the show. They might have a favorite movie if we talk about it. That just makes me feel so good. I'm glad that we all got to share a movie with you as a guest that we all love, that you love. And I hope that people, they haven't seen this movie in a while, or have been wanting to watch it, or maybe they have kids and they want their kids to watch it. I don't know. I hope that they listen to this episode. It gets them excited about the magic of Jurassic Park, and then the power of movies and the influence of creativity. And I hope that people just get inspired from this episode and have fun with it.
Yes.
And go back. Because we all know that movie's awesome. We're not talking. Let's just talk about why it's awesome.
Well, it was like me.
I don't know.
Like I haven't watched this movie in a while. It's been probably a couple of years at least. And like doing an episode for the podcast made me watch the movie, made me watch like some behind the scenes, like documentary type stuff.
Ready to talk about it.
So, it got me interested in all that stuff, learned a ton more about a movie that I love. So, it gave me a reason to dive into all that stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. I don't have really a cool quote to close it with. I just want to say, hold on to your butts. But that's
Dude,
that's it.
There are a million quotes from Jurassic Park. It's unfair to even say that there's one that you could even.
Do you got one that we haven't used yet? There's a million.
Let's see.
I mean,
Well,
we haven't said welcome to Jurassic Park yet.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
One of the things, I think one really affects me is when Alan Grant is describing the 6-foot turkey.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking about how vicious a velociraptor.
He goes and scares the shit out of that kid.
Yeah. He's like, maybe he'll he's very casual about it. Maybe he'll carve you across the belly, spilling your intestines. It's like, when have you ever heard that in a film that's so violently dark, but so beautifully eloquent in and of itself?
For families, right? And like, you're still alive as they're eating you. Shit. Yep.
Right.
Well, think about that before you watch this movie. Think about how this is kind of a horror movie.
It gets very existential very quick if you really try to anticipate everything that's being said.
All right. I think we've talked about this movie enough.
Yep.
Let's get out of here. All right, guys.
All right. Thank you guys so much for having me. It was a true pleasure. I loved every second of it.
Yeah. It was a blast. Thanks for guesting.
Thanks for coming on. Yep. All right. We're out of here.
See ya.